Welcome back to another exciting edition of JD's Top 8s here on JD's YouTube. Today's Top 8s is... Microphone, knock it off. Today's Top 8s is the Fast and Furious ranked. This was hard to do. I have my notes because half of these movies are about street racing. The other half have nothing to do with street racing. So that being said, I did my best to rank them, knowing that the other half of this list is supposed to be over the top fashion. So bear with the list because they kind of blend in. The movies do at a certain point, so I had to take notes. And let's jump into this. Fast and Furious 6 is going to rank ninth because there's 9 films. Yes, I'm counting Hobbs and Shaw. Fast 6 is on this list purely because if they would have kept, what was her name? Mia? No, not Mia. Michelle Rodriguez's character. If they would have kept her dead, then this would be different. But you start off the movie, well, at the end of the last movie, if you stayed after credits, you would find out that Hobbs gets her record on his desk, and then the beginning of this movie, Hobbs goes to wow, it was so horrible with names. Dom. It goes to Dom and let him know that Letty is alive, and that kind of sucked all the heartbreak out of the previous movies where you think that she is gone. It kind of squashed it. So it gets number 9. Number 8 is Furious 7. Furious 7 introduces Shaw, another member of the Shaw family, the older brother. Nothing wrong with Jason Statham. I think he's a fantastic actor. I think he was a really good bad guy. It just, I don't know. They kind of leaped a little bit with this one from Fast and the Furious 6 into throwing cars out of a plane. They were looking for what they called God's Eye. And then at the end, you knew that Hobbs had a traitor inside of his regime. Lenny ends up switching sides. Not switching sides. Oh my lord. Anyways, see what I mean about getting movies mixed up? So, Jason Statham's character is looking for revenge on his little brother since they killed him. 6 was God's Eye and all that what I just said. See, these movies are ridiculous. The plots, don't go to the movie theater for the plots for these movies. Please don't. It just give you a headache. Go for the pure enjoyment of exploding crap and half naked people. That's it. But he goes for revenge. You find out that he killed. See, and it still hurts people. He killed Han, and now he's a good guy. Not in this movie, he's not, but he'll eventually end up. It's all a convoluted mess of cinema. In terms of storytelling, these are by far the worst movies according to the story. But again, if you go in there with the expectation of just watching crap blow up, you'll enjoy yourself. Number 7. We have Fate of the Furious. I have this at number 7. This got me emotional because this is the gathering of the family and sorry. We'll no longer see the character Brian O'Connor. We won't see him again. He had passed away while doing this movie, and I think the end where Dom and him are racing and they both veered off, very touching moment. Again, that's why it's 7. That song, When I See You Again, played over and over again. I thought it was cursed because every time I got in a car and the radio turned on, not being in the car for a little bit, every time I got in a car and somebody turned it on, that song was on. So that one was a little emotional just because of that. Again, don't go watch for the story. It does have a happy ending, but yeah. So that gets 7. 6 is Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. It's 6 because at this point in time, I am fully self-aware that they're self-aware that they don't give a crap. And it's about action. And there is no better two dudes like to butt heads with each other. It's Jason Statham and The Rock. Like, their back and forth banter through this whole movie is fantastic. And it got 6 because of all the star power that is in this movie. I don't know how they drag these people into this movie. The bad guy being an actual likable bad guy. Like, most of the time it's like, oh, generic bad guy. But I really like him as an actor. I think he is a well-rounded actor. He's been in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I love him. I love the dude. And he called himself the Black Superman. Fantastic. But then, spoiler warning, you have you have Ryan Reynolds being Deadpool-ish. And out of nowhere, Kevin Hart. Like, what? Like, they took themselves not serious in this movie, and they showed it. And I congratulate them on not trying to take themselves seriously, knowing exactly who their audience is, and knowing very well how to play them. These ones, however, 5 to 1 are the ones that are gathered around, more around cars. Fast 5, we get everybody back together. Fast 5 is 5. We get everybody back together after a bunch of years of them not being together. And again, has the death of Letty, which hit home. They are back in. It starts off in California. Everything is broken. Brian has to put everything back together. It's just fantastic. It is. I like the bringing the whole family back together and how they did that. 4 is or wait, no. See what I mean about getting these mixed up? 4 is Fast and the Furious, which was what I just said. Dang it. Stop making these movies. You're hurting my brain. You're hurting my brain. Please stop. Fast 5 was the heist. And the introduction of Hobbs. See? Wow. Brain fart. Fast 5. So we are going to keep them in order. Fast 5 at 5 and Fast and Furious at 4. But now I'm just going to talk about Fast 5 since I just talked about Fast and Furious. Fast 5 was the heist. And the sick Dodge Chargers pulling the safe around the town in Brazil, taking on Hobbs for the first time. Awesome. And again, Fast and Furious, the 4th one, is number 4 because it brings everybody back together, and everything I just said was screwed them up. These movies are frustrating. I'm telling you right now, trying to organize these. 3 is Tokyo Drift. I put Tokyo Drift as 3 because it sticks to the root of being a racing movie. It is a horrible acting movie. Han is a good light in this movie, but I guess you could throw Bow Wow in there, but it just as far as acting, it falls flat. Um, you did get to see Dom at the end of the movie, but if they just tried a little harder, the plot wasn't that bad. The acting is what was bad. But I placed it here because it stayed its roots in racing. And that's what Fast and Furious was. Street racing. Number 2 is Too Fast, Too Furious. Too Fast, Too Furious was awesome. I can quote lines from that. Tyrese is awesome in that movie. I love him in that movie. Brian is the character. Brian is the reason why I fell in love with Fast and Furious. I know everybody is like, it's the Twilight thing. Either you're a Brian or a Dom fan. I was a Brian fan, and they left him in the movie. He was on the run. If you watch the short film, it will tell you how he got the skyline and how he was on the run. That is why this movie is at number 2. That car is the most beautiful car I've ever seen. I want my hands on my Nissan Skyline so bad. I love cars. That car is so pretty. Like, it's a sexy car. And I like the movie. I really did. We had street racing. We had a story. We had a car to boat scene. And number 1, if you haven't guessed it now, it is the original Fast and Furious movie. We had an undetective police officer who fell in love with a family of tight-knit. Yes, they were criminals, but they were tight-knit. It was all about loyalty and family and racing. It was all about cars, man. And it was awesome. I loved the movie. I loved the Supra. Oh, that's another beautiful car. Should have done a little bit more race wars. Will they or won't they with the love story? Watching Lenny and Dom get it on in the garage. So, yes, I mean, this was a movie I watched. I just kicked back and enjoyed it. I wanted to race cars after that. That's how much of an impact it had. So, that is my list. You go try to do this list. It is a pain in the rear end because most of it kind of jumbles up and then it becomes which one is which again. That being said, much love. JD out.